Hello and welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guests on this next interview. The Middle East appears to be entering a new phase. As Secretary of State Marco Rubio concludes his Gulf tour, diplomacy is increasingly replacing direct confrontation, but the real contest may now be over who shapes the region's future security order. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss these developments is Ellias Aghili Dehnavi, political scientist and Middle East expert at Adam Mickiewicz University, whose research focuses on regional security, Iranian foreign policy, and geopolitical dynamics. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Hello, a very big good morning to our dear audience in TNN.
Brilliant. Now, a lot to get to here, but before we kick things off, I would like to start with some of the newest information. We just heard that U.S. President Donald Trump says on Thursday evening that the United States will be using unfrozen Iranian funds to buy U.S. farm products. Now, what does that actually mean practically, how it looks, and how is that going to affect the U.S.-Iranian negotiations at this point?
Well, we're actually witnessing a new form of narration creation here. It's like that the both parties are trying to create a new atmosphere of discussion. This reminds me of the era after the World War II, when the scholars and the engineers from the lower parts of the politics started to move towards these technical aspects in order to soften the condition, the hard condition. So I feel like that, from my own perspective, I feel like that the President Trump and the U.S. government is trying to indirectly draw the attention of the Iranians to the softened parts of this political tension. We call it a spillover effect. We don't give you the money, but we are inviting you to buy your products using your own money. So technically speaking, this is, the same as I give you this money directly, but you will buy the products. So from another perspective, we should be all fully aware that we're dealing with different pressure groups within the United States and also Iran. So they cannot directly talk about such matters that we receive the money. Because in Iran, if this propaganda is spread that we have received the money or we have received the funds from the United States, then the pro-regime groups, or let's say the anti-Westerners movements, will march to victory. On the other hand, in the US, we have the same situation. If they say that we have unfrozen the Iranian assets and we've given them the direct funds, then we will have the same situation in the US. The far right or the pro-war movements will, of course, raise their objections against the government. So this rhetoric is also very, very important. But both parties are trying to soften the situation. They're trying to move towards other parts of the political spectrum that is less controversial. So this is very important to pay close attention to the socio-political structure of these two societies.
Right, so like you mentioned, perhaps this is one of the moves to soften the condition and soften the tension that is building right now, both sides trying to find a middle ground that they can both agree with. And we also just saw Secretary of State Marco Rubio concluding his tour as well. Do you think all of these accumulates to the tension in the Middle East finally kind of dying down? Is it genuinely moved beyond immediate military crisis, or do you think this is a temporary pause where something might flare up once again?
I want to bring up a third scenario. This is actually a security measurement assurance that Secretary of State Marco Rubio is trying to give to their Persian Gulf allies. We can see two parallel negotiations going on. The Persian Gulf countries are absent from the main negotiation between Iran and the United States. So they would like to receive their assurance that if there is a negotiation between Iran and the United States, their security must be reassured again. So Secretary of State Marco Rubio is actually trying to maintain this strategic relation between the US and also the GCC. It's very important. It is of high importance for these countries to be aware, to be involved and also to be well assured of the consequences of this negotiation, because they don't want to, see another round of war that's being targeted to their infrastructures. So, technically speaking, the visit to Bahrain, Kuwait, and the other, let's say, heavily attacked countries in the Persian Gulf is to just give them this assurance that we will keep you under our security umbrella. If there is a negotiation with Tehran, we will, of course, consider your security in the region. And the future arrangements have also been discussed during this visit.
Right, so like you mentioned, this is perhaps a reshaping of a strategic structure in the Middle East, and we have U.S. involvement in Iran as well as the Gulf states. Do you think that Europe has a role to play in this new strategic structure, seeing that there's also interest on the European part to see, for example, the Strait of Hormuz being opened?
Well, of course, because from a technical point, Strait of Hormuz is, absolutely crucial for the energy prices and the security of energy in Europe. Uh, I mean, the closure of this strait will directly harm the European security, energy, and also the prices in the bazaar. It's not only about the petroleum, oil, or gas, but it's also about the plastic products and anything that is related to petroleum or the crude oil. So the Europeans will embrace the negotiation, of course, because from the very beginning they've been preaching about diplomatic negotiation, diplomatic talks between Tehran and Washington D.C. So, of course, and absolutely, their perspective and their, point of view regarding this negotiation is positive. But regarding their concrete presence, we haven't seen any, tangible examples or instances of the Europeans being present during the negotiation, because the negotiations are now directly, pointed towards Tehran and Washington, and parallelly between the U.S. and the Persian Gulf capitals.
Oh, unfortunately, we do seem to have a little bit of a connection issue. Oh, well, we got it. Sorry, sir. We just had a little connection issue.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, yep, we got it. Please continue.
Yeah. So I was actually saying that we haven't seen a tangible presence of the European, decision makers or diplomats even. During these serious negotiations. The negotiations have been mostly between Washington D.C., Tehran, and on the other hand, the Persian Gulf capitals and Washington D.C.
All right. Now, recently, France and Italy are saying that they're preparing a multinational mission to succeed the UNIFIL. Do you think that is a signal that Europe is trying to be more involved, at least when it comes to the security situation, the peacekeeping mission in the area as well?
If they want to keep their presence in the Middle East, and if they want to keep their integrated and common hegemony in this region, they have to do something practical. This is not for the sake of the Strait of Hormuz security, but this is for the sake of their common hegemony. Because this is a competition in international relations, as I always repeat. This is an equation of power. It doesn't matter if you have allies, if the U.S. is your ally, or if you have big allies. In other parts of the world, you need to keep your presence. We have heard this, rhetoric from the, France President Emmanuel Macron, saying that we will send, this naval delegation. We will form a coalition. So it has been repeated more than 5 times, at least, that we're trying to form this coalition. But where is this coalition exactly? Is it on the way? Is it still being formed? We saw that recently the Secretary of NATO had a meeting with President Trump, and President Trump was not happy regarding the NATO members' participation in the common security structure. So this is also another side to this. To this story, that if NATO wants to keep its biggest ally, then of course France, UK, and Germany as the leading leaders in this structure must strengthen their presence anywhere that there is a crisis, not only in the Middle East.
All right. Now, another interesting thing that we've been observing is how the U.S. and Gulf states are insisting that Lebanon must remain separate from broader U.S. Iran negotiations. Do you think that is trying to kind of quarantine this space? Because we do know Israel is still relatively reluctant to see the ceasefire happen, and perhaps there's a possibility that conflict might stem from there?
I mean, if you ask most of the Middle Eastern experts or scholars, this is impossible. I mean, this is impossible to separate Lebanon from Iran-U.S. diplomacy. It was 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was 2 weeks ago that the Iranian, fired missiles towards Israel because they didn't stop their operation in the southern parts of Lebanon. So we see how, integrated and how complicated the subject of Lebanon is when it comes to the Iran-U.S. Diplomacy. But there are very big complications, and the complication comes here because Israelis want first to see Hezbollah disarmed, and Hezbollah wants to see Israel to move back from the occupied territories in the southern part of Lebanon. So it's really important that which party takes the first initiative. I mean, they have to compromise, but they need a meddler here. I mean, they're having direct negotiation, but this is not a big deadlock, but still it's a deadlock. And on the other hand, it might reduce the speed of negotiation between Iran and the U.S. As long as the war continues in Lebanon, as long as we have the conflict in Lebanon, then we have a very slow set of negotiation between the U.S. and Iran. I mean, Iran has vital interests in that part of Lebanon because Hezbollah is directly linked with the Iranian national security abroad.
Right.
And at the same time, Lebanese government wants to give the authority to their army. So you see, this is a complicated and complex set of operational indexes.
Right, and last but not least, what do you think the Israeli position is when it comes to U.S. kind of trying to pull back from the conflict?
Ultimately, they will have no other option but to pull back from the occupied territory, because from all the presented perspectives, from all the existing perspectives, they need to do that from an international law point of view, from an international relations point of view, from a military and security perspective. They need to gradually pull back, but they need to, that's what they are saying. They need to see and they need to receive security assurances. And these security assurances are like, giving the authority to the Lebanon army. The southern parts must be controlled by the Lebanese army, because President Joseph Aoun also said the same thing. He said, we are trying to negotiate with Hezbollah to give this, the security control of the southern territories to the Lebanese army. But in reality, things are different. Hezbollah is a reality of the Lebanese political sphere, Lebanese society, and it's almost impossible to eliminate this reality from the
so it
Lebanon
does seem like it's still
region.
a Gordian knot there waiting to be untangled. But in the meantime, thank you so much for your input and insight. I really appreciate it, and thanks for being with us on TVP World.
Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Cheers. And thank you for tuning into this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.